I got the inspiration from a family friend who was with the Delhi police. He had retired 6 years ago. I met him and he gave me the idea. He said, why don't you do a film on this case? And I said I didn't think it was right. I didn't think it was appropriate for anybody to do anything, especially me. I was here in Delhi when it happened, but I didn't have, it was 6 years ago, so immediately after the crime, we were still struggling, all of us, with the crime. And then he said, why don't you read the verdict? The first verdict has come out. Read the document. If you think there's something there, then I will introduce you to the officers. I read it. I wanted to meet the officers. He introduced me, and then I got to know them. The DCP South District, her team, the people involved, all the cops involved. And then I started to get to know them as people, as human beings, and understand that these were people who really tried to do the right thing and did the right thing. They got these guys, and they got them in record time for us, for the public. And as I would talk to them, I would ask their opinions on things, especially the lady officers, how they feel about these things. And their opinions were very different from ours because they were informed. They deal with this all the time. Not this bad a crime, but crimes like this. And so I felt that I'd never heard their voices in film, in television, in web series, in anything like this. And so that was what I wanted to represent and reflect. Again, like I said, because I was getting to know the officers involved, and I realized if I tell the story of the manhunt, of how they caught the 6 suspects, that story spread across Delhi and North India would also provide an analysis of why this happens. Because their experience is so complicated. Finding one man in Rajasthan, one man in Bihar, the other 4 in Delhi, how they did this, every person was different, every conversation was different. And I realized this could be a way for us to understand this in a better way, in a more complete way. So that was what I thought was more appropriate. And I also felt it was important for us to feel compassion for these people, especially the lady officers, who are trying to fight this for us.
इन्होंने सारा research करके रखा था. He's worked on it for like 4 years. 4 years of script and 2 years of making this, and he's still working on it. और सारी details, सारा precision, सारे facts script में थे. So that was a great blueprint for me to start on, to work on. And of course, जिनकी कहानी है DCP, उस वक्त वो DCP थी जिन्होंने ये केस हैंडल किया. उनको मिलने का, I had the privilege and honor of meeting her. और छोटे से छोटे सवाल का जवाब, she was really kind कि वो, she would answer questions that I would ask. And then it was building around it. So, I mean, अकेले इतना बड़ा काम अकेले नहीं हो सकता. It has to have, and particularly when you're working on a real life, जो एक केस था जो हुआ था, it's talking about a person. It's not just a fictional role. Research is, I mean, the precision of it. You can't just, उसका emotional angle या उसकी personal life you can maneuver, but not what the facts are. Just one thing before he starts. I mean, it's an answer that he has to give. They're not side characters. They are all extremely, extremely important to this, and they are. I mean, this couldn't have been possible without a team. It's not just her. It's not just her story. It's her team story. Yeah. So I just wanted to correct that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Every character has an important piece, and they have their own story. They bring their own journey to this. But in terms of instructing the cameraman, I mean, it was like one brain that he and I had. We were completely in sync. So what I would do is I would show him, we would block the scene with the actors, just me and the actors. And then I would bring him in and say, this is what it is. And then he and I would talk about, well, what is the focus of the scene? Because as you saw, there are lots of time you have 4 or 5 characters speaking. We're just on one person. Maybe the person not speaking. We're hearing everything else. And then the camera would turn to somebody else. And then a person would walk and then we follow that. And it's very fluid, but it wasn't about necessarily who's speaking. It was about who is responding sometimes. What is the emotional reaction? You know, during interrogation scene in episode 2, we're sitting like you would be if you were in the room, like you're just sitting and observing. And then they, you know, Bhupinder and Jay Singh, the suspect, are speaking, and then we hear the door open, and then we just look and you see Neeti come in. As if you're sitting and you look and you see her, you understand, and then you go back, and that it was about the attention to what is important in that moment. And it's not necessarily the information.